Hello, I am Mystic Orange and this is video hashtag Fall79. Before we get into this video, make sure to subscribe. In this video, it's kind of like an announcement video. I'm adding new direction to this channel. If you've been on this channel before, you know that I've covered shows from BBC and ITV. So on this channel, I'm adding a new group of shows. I'm adding shows from Pop and its sister channels. I'm excited to present them to you guys. I will state that Pop and its sister channels defined my childhood. So the first of these channels will be Pop TV. Pop TV was the main channel of these set of channels. It's kind of similar to Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, CBBC and CITV. Pop TV is where I got most of my entertainment from when I was a kid. Actually, fun fact, this is the channel where I would grow up to watch Winx Club. So Pop TV does have a special place in my heart. For those who watch Pop TV as well, do you guys remember the dragon and its little pet? Let me know in the comments if you do. The second of these channels would be Tiny Pop. This channel is kind of similar to Cartoonito, Nick Jr., Disney Jr., CBeebies, and Little B. Basically, it's a channel aimed at younger kids, but it wouldn't stop me from watching it much older. I think as a kid, I would watch Tiny Pop the most out of all the channels. This includes from CBBC, CBeebies, and CITV, and other pop channels. So I would say it's the most frequently watched channel. So it does place a special place in my heart. If you want to know something about me, as a kid I did have different phases. In my first phase era, I did think that most of my kids shows were from the UK. Like as a kid, I didn't know much about UK, America or Canada. I just didn't know the difference back then. But of course that was a short phase of era. But of course, like every children, we grow up, we go to school, we learn. But of course we don't learn to research at that point. So we enter the second phase era. And this is the largest phase era. At that point I did know that UK and Canada and America existed. And I did pick up that most of my kids shows from Pop and Tiny Pop weren't actually British. So basically what I'm saying is, for the longest time I used to think most of my kids shows were American. So basically I could tell the difference between British and American. But here's a big but. I couldn't differentiate between American and Canadian for the longest time ever. As of right now, as a British, I still can't tell the difference between an American accent and a Canadian accent. But obviously if you're from Canada or American, you can tell the difference. So for the longest time ever, I didn't know that most of my kids shows from Pop and Tiny Pop were mostly from Canada. Do you hear what I'm saying? When I first learnt about this, my mind was blown. Like I didn't know that most of the kids shows that I've been watching was from Canada. I just thought it was from America. So basically this is my final phase era. Basically realizing that most of my kids shows were Canadian. So here I will list out some examples of Canadian shows that you probably think were American. Especially if you're from the UK and you can't tell the difference between American and Canadian accent. So we have Timothy Goes to School, Berenstain Bears, Little Bear, Franklin, Rupert Bear, 16, Magi Nation, Total Drama, Stoked, Bakugan, and probably many more. Those are just the ones I could list from top of my head. The third channel we have is Pop Girl. It lasted since 2007 to 2015. This channel was mainly aimed at girls, but of course it didn't stop us boys from watching it. I will say that though, Pop Girl was both iconic yet a controversial kids channel. When Pop Girl ended, I was both really bummed yet really understood why it ended. I wonder if you're a boy grew up in the UK who watched Pop Girl. Did you ever feel insecure watching Pop Girl or admitting it to other people? I think I was one of those people, and I think probably other boys probably think this way as well. Like I can understand why Pop Girl ended at 2015. I think that's where like people are thinking like, okay, gender stereotypes is kind of like stupid. Like we don't care about that, and we should definitely not affect kids with gender stereotypes. I'm glad that I'm at that point where like I really don't care what I watch or what people think what I watch. Like I'll watch anything, whatever I want, whenever I want. Like it doesn't matter if it's aimed at little kids or older adults or like if it's an adult content or if it's aimed at primarily boys or aimed at primarily for girls. It really doesn't matter to me. I'll watch it and I'll be entertained. It really doesn't bother me at all whatsoever. I wish I had that mentality as a kid. And I wish everyone else had that mentality as a kid. Because we could have done without making fun of kids who watch Pop Girl. Or even worse, shows that existed on Pop Girl. But instead, we could have had like an era where we could have discussed these Pop Girl shows just freely. Like, these Pop Girl shows were really iconic. And the channel was pretty iconic as well. I mean, do you remember the Pop Girl logo and the bright pink advertising? That was so iconic. The music, the visuals, it was just superb. Also, do you remember Pop Party? That was iconic. Sometimes Pop Party was boring, but it was also iconic with the songs as such. Also, do you remember the presenters of Pop Party? Like, I think it was Emma or Gemma, I can't remember, but I do remember their names. I forgot to mention this on my Tiny Pop section, but do you remember the original monkeys? The ones with like RGB colors? They were super iconic. And I think in the second era, we had like different set of monkeys who had actual names. I mean, they weren't as iconic as the original monkeys, but so many fun memories. So here I can list out some shows from Pop Girl that you might recognize. Shows like Mimi Power, of course, Winx Club, Totally Spies, Madeline, Strawberry Shortcake, Two of a Kind, Sleepover Club, Saddle Club, Horseland. 16 was on Pop Girl too. And also Trolls. So those are just the ones that I can think of on top of my head. The fourth channel we have is Kicks. It's now rebranded as Pop Max. It began at 2008. At best, this channel is similar to Boomerang, Nicktoons, and Disney XD. I never understood the point of this channel. If Pop Girl was aimed at girls, I assumed that Kicks was aimed at boys. I think now that it's called Pop Max, the branding is kind of changed. Now I feel like Pop Max is just an extension of Pop TV. Basically, if it can't be fit in Pop TV, they'll put it in Pop Max. That's the general vibe I get. I think in general, Kicks and Pop Max isn't as iconic as the other channels. I think it's because we don't know the main target audience for Pop Max. But in general, I think I've enjoyed stuff from Kicks and Pop Max. Anyways, that's it for this video. I really enjoyed going back to memory lane. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel. It's free to do. And have a lovely day.